Andreas Acerbi, Fredfin Radio from the Venice Festival, here with Jørgen Leth and Andreas Koefoed from the film Music for Black Pigeons. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a cinematic documentary about jazz musicians that was shot over a huge length of time, right? 14 years. So you follow Jakob Bro for 14 years, the composer, and how your idea of the film changed throughout this very long period?
Yeah.
If it did, I don't know, maybe it didn't.
It did change a couple of times.
Just a couple.
Jørgen and I, we started working on the film in 2015, and we went on a tour with Jakob Bro and some of the other musicians. It was in the Arctic region. So we went to Greenland, Faroe Islands, Iceland, and we shot a lot of footage with them and some beautiful scenes. But when we looked at the footage, we felt that it wasn't quite what we wanted to do. So we had to invent a new form for the film. And together with the editor, Adam Nielsen, we created a more catalog form, also inspired by Jørgen's previous films, where you don't have a story going from A to B, but you have a chain of strong scenes and strong moments with the various characters.
Actually, the documentary is a film about music and how music is created and how the world of music is embedded in these people that you meet. It's not a classic documentary form and say, well, I met a person, I asked him questions, and then, it's more like the questions are fluidly integrated into the music. Music is the first thing, right?
Yeah, and then observation. It's an observational film. We like to see what's happening, and we knew that these musicians could inspire each other, and we learned it very well during the filming, that something happened out of nothing almost. So it's a film about the creative process.
Yeah.
It's a documentation of a certain creative process. If you put people together, that they did, it's not a forced adventure, but they were very good together, and they developed together, and the music was coming out of this strange meeting.
Actually, there is a lot of music in the film, and there is a lot of seems like to be unexpected music coming up. It's like, I think, like if you let the camera roll and you just wait to see what's going to happen when they meet. Was it like this?
Exactly, that was the idea.
Uh-huh.
I knew we had a lot of confidence in Jakob, who's a creative person and a friend, and who's working with art in general. So we felt we're in good hands here.
Yeah.
And something happens, and then when I heard the great names who were participating, I thought, well,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
going to be an interesting experience. That's how we saw it all the way, as an interesting experience that we were part of, in a way.
And so how much, I'm curious about a technical question. How many hours of material did you have to choose from? Because it must have been like, a lot,
Yeah,
I think.
I don't think we ever counted, actually.
You were too afraid there were too many.
Yeah. To begin with, we shot a lot of hours, but then when we knew what we were going for, we became more selective, and it was like in the final stage of the film, it was like everything we shot came right into the film. So in a way, we discovered the form of the film along the way. But we like to see the film as well as a musical piece. It's composed almost like a piece of music.
As Jørgen said, names included in this film are huge, are enormous, like gigantic musicians. They made the history of jazz music too.
Yeah.
And each one of them has a different shows or tells us a different approach to how they behave with music, how they feel music. Is there something that you learn out of this film that you, while talking with these people and following this?
Of course, you learn a lot from a creative process that you're watching, and you feel you're into it. You're trying to explain for yourself and for the audience in the next phase what's happening here. How are they coming from A to C, etc. So that's an interesting experience for us as filmmakers, and also to be together with musicians who are so creative. It's a process that's filmed. I'll repeat that. It's a creative process. That's the plot of the film.
One last question: is the film has become, unfortunately, a tribute to many musicians that you filmed that are not with us anymore. Did this losses influence the editing? Did you change something in the movie in order to make tribute to some of them?
Yeah, we wanted to show in the film how, even when some of the legendary musicians pass away, how their music lives on in the world, on records, of course, but also in the younger musicians. So Jakob, who played with all these fantastic musicians, he carries the heritage from them inside of him, and when he plays, he channels some of the things.
He passes on the message,
heritage,
yeah.
And I think that's a very beautiful statement about life. And we didn't want to end the film on a sad note, but more like a life affirming note, that the music lives on, and these musicians are still with us somehow.
And they are, absolutely. Well, thank you very much. Thanks a lot to Jørgen Leth and Andreas Koefoed for the film Music for Black Pigeons here at the Venice Festival. I'm Angelo Acerbi for Fred, the Festival Insider. Angelo Acerbi, Fred Film Radio from the Venice Festival, here with Jakob Bro for the film Music for Black Pigeons. Good morning.
Good morning.
You are, well, we are talking about the documentary about jazz music, if we want to be general, let's say. It's more than that. And you are the lead character, even if there's not any actors in this film.
Yeah.
But you are like the fil rouge that brings on the tale of that the film is about. You are a music composer, and you were followed by 14 years, I think.
Yeah.
By the two directors. It's a kind of a stalking situation, right? And how did your perception of music and composing and the jazz music world in general change throughout those years, if it changes?
I mean, yeah, it changed. I guess it changed in a way, but without me noticing. But now, looking back at the film, seeing scenes from 2008 and 10 and 12, I can see that not just, of course, physically I changed, but I also hear a difference in the music somehow. So I think that's one of the beautiful things about music, that it you live with it as long as you're alive, and every time you express yourself, it's going to be somehow mirror in terms of where you're at in your life. So.
And the idea, the concept, the philosophy of music that comes out of the film is that music is over us. So and if I mean, we listen to music and we are taken by it. But if you are a real musician, music is your life, is your God, is your like savior as well. So it was really interesting listening to this big personality of jazz music talking so with so humility about their job. You know, Bill Frisell says, every time I start playing, it's like the first time, which is unexpected from him, because he's one of the greatest musicians. So how is living with music, how can a musician be able to reach a balance between his life and the music life?
That's a good question. I think, for me, I'm not looking for virtuosity, for instance, in my music. I'm looking for the human being expressing itself through music. So I've been very fortunate, I think, to be able to collaborate with all these beautiful people that are all a part of the film, and it's true that every time you pick up an instrument and make sound, it's a potential piece of music.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you have to decide when you want to play, when you don't want to play, and I don't know. For me, it's you grow up, you want to learn how to play your instrument. You work on that for a long time. You try to write music. You try to get to know the history of music, who came before you. That's a whole big work, of course, when you're growing up as a musician and you want to be a part of a scene that's been there for so many years. But at the same time, I've always been interested in the mystery of music. Like, what is it with music that makes me feel a certain way when I listen to it? What is it that makes me want to cry when I listen to some music, or I get moved by some music? Yeah. And that investigation is getting more and more. That takes more and more center part for me in a way in my search for music, and more just my ongoing wish of playing. So, and I think that mystery is I will probably never be able to.
It's a mystery. It will stay a mystery.
It will stay a mystery, which is the beautiful thing about it.
This thing also comes out from the film, because especially the aspect of the need of playing, the necessity for a musician to create and play music. Yeah. There in the movies there are a lot of impromptu, like jam sessions. It just comes up when those musicians meet, and it's really a refreshing, and it's a really a positive message that comes out. You know, I mean, I think that because the music is there and will always be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's for my own sake. I mean, I try to prepare before playing music. Like, once I start playing, I don't want to have any rules. I don't want to have anybody feeling that they can't be themselves, or they have to follow a certain path in a way. I prepare. My aesthetic sort of sense is preparing compositions, and I put people together. And once we hit play, nobody's going to get any sort of direction from me, which has been my sort of approach for a long time. And I feel like that's where the music develops the most natural way for me, in a way. And I don't know. I think the film captures that in a way.
Oh yeah, definitely does.
Which is
definitely does.
I don't see it as a portrait of me. It's just all these people that I've played with, and we've collaborated together, and all of a sudden, this film just almost turned into a mirror of, for me at least, the way I look at music and try to create music. It's not in my hands. It's just in all of our hands. Yeah. So, and Jørgen and Andreas are I've been admiring them for a long time. I love the way Jørgen makes movies, and his approach is similar in a way.
Yeah, in terms of there is also another aspect to the film, by the fact that many of the people that are portrayed are passed away. So you as composer and as lead character, you can say, with the film. Do you feel to have a kind of mission of responsibility to have this history of music keep going on, keep passed through the younger generation of jazz musicians? Because this is a key thing, I think.
Yeah, it is.
History.
Definitely. Yeah, it's much more like a portrait of life in general to me somehow. Like seeing Paul Motion and Stanko and, of course, Lee Konitz and Jon Christensen. I mean, first of all, I'm so grateful that these moments were captured on film, because they're so special.
We are too, actually.
Yeah. But then also having, hearing Joe Lovano talk about how playing with Hank Jones made him feel close to Lester Young, close to Ella Fitzgerald, and that sort of, for me, was a key thing in the film as well. How we are, how music is. We're all in the same sort of family. And people are here, people are not here, but they're still here in a way. And even though they moved on, so we are all connected.
We're all connected, and we will be all connected.
Yeah.
Even if physically we're not present.
Yeah, that's a really powerful thing in music, but also in life in general, I think. When you have that
Yeah, but
sort
with
of
music
overview.
it's more visible, it's more
Yeah.
palpable, this.
Of course, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks a lot to Jakob Bro for the film music for Black Pigeons here at the Venice Festival. I'm Angelo Acerbi for Fred the Festival Insider.